All right, let's kick this thing off, shall we? I made that video, and I thought, you know what? I'm so sick of getting asked that question, and everyone's always obsessing over Linux distributions, and it just drives me crazy because it's like all Linux distributions really suck out of the box, and any Linux distribution, even the ones that you don't like, can be made awesome. So that's what I'm doing. That's what this whole stream's about. That's it. So we're gonna do it live, as so many people would probably be like, "Well, you copy pasted something from some other video to make it look like that," and I don't want that. So we're gonna go completely different. Now I haven't done Debian as a daily driver in probably about 6 months, which that's what Ubuntu's based on. And the reason why I use Ubuntu server instead of desktop is because they have a lot of things in there I don't like. I don't like snap packages, which Ubuntu server does have snapd package by default. It's just not integrated as much. And then also, I really hate GNOME. The GNOME desktop environment is not my favorite at all. Eggs, how's it going, man? Good to see you back. So yeah, Pop! OS is actually GNOME, and I actually really hate Pop! OS out of the box. Great operating system, or great distribution for the most part. There's a lot of things about it that I really don't like, which is GNOME, so I usually switch out the desktop environment. But there's just some things I just hate. It really, it's this obsession that, hey, this distribution's really that much different from that distribution. Honestly, at the end of the day, they all do the same thing. They all work the same way. Underneath it all, most of them are almost identical. It's just a different skin. So that's why I was like, I don't care what I use. So let's use Ubuntu, because I'm going to show you that. We're gonna see what we got. And now I think I pre-downloaded Ubuntu server, so we're not gonna be sitting here waiting on me to actually download. And I'll go full screen here in a minute. I'm just checking to see what I have in my downloads. Maybe I didn't download the latest Ubuntu server. I bet I have it in here though. All right, let's see what we got. I guess I can check my downloads here. I didn't. Well, that's a bummer. Oh, actually, you know what? I already threw Ubuntu server in my images. I have a NAS box back here, so I threw all of them in the templates directory. So I'm going to go ahead and just copy that over to downloads, and we're going to make the bootable USB, and then we'll start going on this thing. But beforehand, we'll do some pre-flight checks. I'll show you exactly what my Arch looks like, and really what we're going to do is we're going to switch from Arch Linux to Ubuntu, and it's going to look exactly the same. It's going to function exactly the same. Everything's really gonna be exactly the same, because I think too many people are just like, well, yeah, I know you say distributions don't matter, but there's no but. There's no but here. So let's go ahead and just do this. And let's see here. I got Ubuntu 16, 1910. Yeah, well, you know what? I don't like any of these. Let's grab the latest Ubuntu 20. Let's just jump up to Ubuntu 20. I want to be as close to new as I possibly can when it comes to Ubuntu. Download Ubuntu daily. Ubuntu's the devil. Yeah, so like I don't care. Like whether you're using Arch, whether you're using Ubuntu, whether you're using Debian, whether you're using whatever, you can customize any Linux distribution. And honestly, if you're not customizing a Linux distribution, you're just installing. your distribution sucks. That's what I have to say. So we're gonna strip out the stuff I don't like, but let's see what we got here. Ooh, that's a desktop download. We are not grabbing that. Where is Ubuntu daily server? Let's grab the image server. All right, I'm gonna go full screen here, and we can actually look at the desktop so you guys can see what I'm seeing. All right, here we go. And let's go with the Ubuntu server. Boom. And I'm just going directly off of Ubuntu's daily builds here. We're going to go with Ubuntu Daily Live. Let's see what we got. We'll just go current. Ah. All right, so we're going to grab the server image install, 64-bit. Now, obviously, if you're watching this in the future, you could probably just go to downloads. Download what you need. I'm doing it this method just so I can get relatively close to the latest. You could also do it minimal and do it all through the net while we do the install. So, I mean, there's a lot of different ways of doing it. Only reason I'm using a server image is because I don't like a lot of the built-in packages from Ubuntu. Even their minimal install selection during the desktop install, it's crap. How Ubuntu does its install process, while the end result is noob friendly, how they go about doing it is just horrible. So, and I've watched the installer do it from terminal, and how their desktop does, it installs a crap ton of packages, even on the minimal, and then it strips it down a little bit towards the end. And it's just very, bleh. Technical term. That's right. That's right, Sparky. Distributions don't matter. Ooh, yeah. I might do a Zan mod. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens here. What don't you like about Snap? Snap is slow, and when I say it's slower than APT. If you install something through APT and you install it through Snap, a lot of times the APT is going to be a lot faster. It just depends on what it is. A good example of it being considerably slower, Chromium. Install Chromium through Snap and then install Chromium through APT. You'll see a big difference. Certain things don't run very well in Snap. And then on top of that, snaps are hosted by Canonical. It's a centralized place. Imagine it's the same thing as if you were on Mac and you had the Mac App Store. The Mac App Store, guess what? That's Macintosh. The Microsoft Store from Windows 10, hosted by Microsoft. The Ubuntu store with snaps, well, that's hosted by Ubuntu. I don't know of any third party that has a Snap server that you can install snaps from. So when you see snaps, yeah, but at the same time, it's just until they open source the server component of snaps, which I don't believe there's an open source version of the Snap server, or they allow hosting of a Snap server outside of Canonical. And that's, I mean, you're going to trade one devil for another. I mean, I don't get it. So that's my thing with snaps. One, the actual how fast they run. And then two, that aspect of it. I mean, at that point, why don't I just use Windows? Or Mac for that matter. So that's my problem with snaps. That's the too long didn't watch of my I don't like Ubuntu. Oh, lordy. What about App Image and Flatpak? Love App Image and I love Flatpak. Two completely different ways of coming at the Universal Package Manager. So when it comes to Universal Package Managers, I will say this much. App Image is just like an all-contained app image. You know, it's really cool. It's very consolidated. It doesn't need to be installed or anything. You just basically set it as executable and run it. So app image is cool. Flatpak kind of has the same approach as Snap, except it's more open source. You can add other, you know, it's not just one flat hub. You know, you could actually host another Flatpak server elsewhere. It's all open source. So Flatpak and how they do it. And I haven't really run into a Flatpak that really took a big performance hit by using it. But I haven't done much testing on that either, so take that with a grain of salt. One thing I will say about Flatpak is it is all terminal based, so it's not as clean as, let's say, a Snap, because Snaps do have a good front end and is very user friendly. So they all each have their pros and cons, but I do probably like Flatpak the best. That's my personal preference. It's not Snaps you don't like, it's Canonical. Yeah, it just depends on how it is. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say I hate Canonical or anything like that, because honestly, it's fine. I mean, they do have a little storied history, and I've done all that. I've done that video to death, and they've done some good stuff too. So I'm not gonna sit on here and hate on them, but I'm not gonna sit here and sugarcoat something like Snaps and say, oh, Snaps are great. I mean, they just really aren't. Maybe they will be in the future. Maybe they open source that back end. Maybe they allow other people to host snaps. Maybe they improve it. But today, what I see, well, I don't like what I see. But you're such a hater. I mean, so yeah, I mean, it's so here's the thing. I use whatever's best. Period. I don't care. And if I can make Ubuntu work just as well as Arch, I'll use Ubuntu. So that's what we're doing in this video. I think if you do a minimal install of Ubuntu server, load up what you need, it'll work just as well as it does on Arch. Now, obviously, I won't have access to AUR, but everything else will work just fine. So, and there's nothing wrong with, like Tony here said, I don't like flat or snap packs. I get it. I mean, honestly, when it comes to flat pack and snaps, it is not something that it's not as easy as if it's just right there in the repository and you just install it. They're bulkier. They use a lot more space. I mean, there's just a lot of things that go into it. The reason why they're so cool and why so many people and why so much of the Linux community is going towards snaps, flat packs, app images is because you don't run into like dependency hell. And if you've ever hit dependency hell on an install, you'll know real quick that sucks so bad. You basically break your install when you do that, because let's say a good example was my open source Stream Deck over here. I ran into a dependency issue where it wanted Python like 3.6, but I had like 3.8 installed. And if I downgraded to 3.6, another package that depended on 3.8 would break. So like you run into these dependencies, and the solution to that is like a flat pack or a snap. So that's why. Yeah, I'm actually just gonna, why not use the Ubuntu Mini ISO about the minimal option in desktop. You know, I like server. There's certain aspects of server I really do enjoy when it comes to Ubuntu server. So that's why I'm going to use Ubuntu server. Probably could use the minimal, because the minimal I think is 40 megs, Hikari, but shouldn't matter either way. All right, let's see what we get. Yeah. Yeah, here we go. Growing a beard like Linus. Got to emulate Linus tech tips, man. Gotta emulate the king of YouTube, or king of tech YouTube, I should say. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so we got our image downloaded. Let's go ahead, close this guy out. And let me show you what we're rocking with. Let's just do a neo fetch to start things out as a pre-flight, or neo fetch. All right, so we're running right now Arch Linux 5.6 kernel. It's been up for almost 2 days. We're using Pacman, Flatpak a little bit. We have a ZHS shell. Desktop is not Unity. It's something I use to go between GTK and Qt, so we have uniformity when we're actually going through those things. Window manager, awesome. And that's about it. So nothing too crazy here. Terminator's the terminal. So we're going to probably emulate most of this. Obviously not Arch Linux, but everything else we'll build out. So let's do it lsblk. I just plugged in, I think, a 32 gig drive. It's SDF. We just downloaded our ISO. So let's go ahead, do a sudo dd input file equals if, and this is in downloads. What is it? Ubuntu. What was that? Focal maybe? Yeah, Focal Live Server AMD64 ISO. Output file equals dev SDF. And block size equals 1M, and status equals progress. And we'll go ahead, type in our password, and this will write that ISO directly to there. We'll have a bootable one. We'll reboot, wipe out this entire system, and reload. So there's a lot to reload. This will probably take better part of 3 hours. As the actual getting to the desktop, getting kind of emulated, probably will take an hour. So if you only want to hang around for that, should only be about an hour or so. And then the fine tuning and tweaking, you know, that takes usually days. There'll be little things that pop up, as I have used this as a daily driver since, I don't know, guys. I did this on a live stream too. What was the setup on this Akari? I think 3 months ago, 4 months ago, something like that. So something like that in that regard. But yeah, I do love Awesome. It's great. Oh, yeah. I did see that, Hikari. The iBus uni emoji. Actually, making that a little bit better. That's cool. Please try Gen 2, Chris says. I have tried Gen 2. It's boring. I actually did that live on stream. So there was a stream, I loaded up Gen 2. And guess what? Everybody fell asleep when I went to load the kernel. Because you got to compile the kernel. And on a 16 thread system, even though this is a 2700, takes a little over 2 hours. 2 hours. So, yeah. Don't use Gentoo. That's silly. Let me just chop my leg off and make it to where it's just so much slower. Compile everything. You guys. That's not fun. All right, so we did a neo fetch. We got the environment all set up. Let's reboot and start loading this server up. We'll probably use Mate as a base or Mate as a base, and we'll go like that. And we'll see if I can't catch this on reboot. I always have problems trying to catch this on reboot. Ooh, 1 second. I'm actually going to let this go through. There's one thing I need to grab before we do this. So how I emulate so you guys can see what's going on is kind of interesting. This grub command is very, very interesting. So I actually have two outputs. One is through the HDMI, is what you guys see, and that actually captures it. The other is through, I think, a DVI, and I see the DVI on my TV here and the capture right here. So there's an actual setup script for that. So let's go over here. Thanks for the sub there, Dell, much appreciated. But if we go into our listings, I think I had that. Let's go into Light DM because I want to make sure I'm able to emulate exactly what I'm doing here, because I don't want you guys to get like a black screen, or I might have to work off of the stream for a little bit. So I'll actually see it in a window. So we might run into some shenanigans trying to capture all this, but we'll get it done. We'll get it done. Let's nano into Light DM. I think it is running a setup script though. Have you made your backups? Kinda. You know me, Sparky. The really important stuff I got. All right, so we're using WebKit 2 for the light DM. User session is defaulted to awesome. Here's what I needed. This fix monitor script. This will fix my monitors to where I have my TV, and then it also outputs there. So let's look at that script real fast, as I want to make sure we emulate that as close as possible. I remember we spent a whole stream making a script for that specific thing. So what was that? User, CD user, bin, and what was that? Oh, no. I think it's just right in the bin, right? Oh, crap. You know what? I totally spaced on that directory. It's always interesting doing an early morning stream. If you guys are new here, I will say I do space out a little bit towards the beginning because I am not a morning person at all. Yeah. All right, let's see here. User local bin. Yeah, I'm in the wrong directory. I was like, I think I missed something there. All right. Now we do fix monitors. All right. So this little xrandar, I'm basically outputting HDMI and also DVI. So I have a DVI and an HDMI, and this is just basically setting the mode on startup. So we'll go ahead, copy that out. Copy fix monitors out to our home directory, Synology drive. Sparky, you know I always read the chat about, 5-10 seconds late. We'll do backups. What do we got? Backups, Synology drive. And we'll put this under Studio PC. Or actually, let's go ahead. Yeah, Studio. We need to make the directory real fast. So we'll grab some backups here before we wipe this old Arch machine out. We can make this one Studio. And then copy that over. Let's go ahead and copy our fstab too. etc fstab, as there's some stuff in there. What do we got? And trying to think of anything else. Let's look at fstab. Actually, let's just cat fstab. I can't remember. I think I was using... Yeah, I was using some server credentials that will be wiped out as well. So let's copy that over. We're going to go root, server creds. And we're going to need to do sudo, because that is going to be super user. For sure, server creds, and we'll copy that over to the same place. So that should grab us pretty much everything we need. This will go ahead and connect to my Snake. So we'll get the UUID working again. We'll get all that. There'll be some packages I'm gonna miss probably out of here, but we'll get that on the fly. I think as long as we can connect back, get our displays working properly, the rest should be pretty simple. Oh, copy server credentials over to server. So yeah, so the backup should be this UUID right here. So as long as I do a rewrite exec on this one, and another good thing to note is we are using BetterFS on this system as well. So This will be interesting. This will be interesting to say the least. I might switch us. No, I'll probably keep Better FS. What do you guys think? Better FS, ext4, XFS. What do we want to do? Because right now we're running, what do we got? Better FS is our root. Partition up here. Subvol at, subvol ID. I don't even think I need that subvol over here. Probably went a little crazy, but oh well. All right, I think we can. All right, yeah. I did reformat my backups. Hopefully this time I don't do that again. I was trying to do like the ultimate fast Arch install, and I just went a little too quick. So let's see what we got here. Games is under SDA. SDB, I think, is a Windows partition, actually. I think we have a dual boot I set up on some video. And then SDC is what we have here. So, yeah, I think we labeled all these as well. So I think that should be fine. But let's check out our UUID, which is 353F. 353F is just what we remember. I think we're ready, guys. Let's reboot this and start our install. Yeah. Oh, that's such a great clip. Don't ever do that at home. So great. All right, let's see if I can catch this. And I think I have everything piped into the actual stream PC. So at the very least, when we go in the dark here, it'll show on the actual stream PC. I just won't be able to see it on my main monitor. So I might be sitting here going squinting at the screen a little bit for the first part of this, but sacrifices must be made. Let's go boot menu. And then we're gonna do UEFI. I'm kind of a big UEFI fan. I've always kind of liked UEFI. Just so it's kind of silly why I like UEFI. The main reason is because I really like to pimp out my actual grub screen for dual booting and those types of things. And yeah, that's why I always choose UEFI. I know most people are just like, I don't care. All right, so yeah, we're working off of this little tiny screen. Damn. All right, let me kill this. Close that. And oh wow, that's really small. Let me make that a little bigger so I can see. All right, I think we should be good here, guys. That should be enough to get me going. We don't need graphics. Graphics is bloat. So I'm really hoping this will just mirror. We'll see. UEFI. Just rolls off the tongue. What do we got here? What's that say? Unpacking decoding failed. No such file directory. What? Oh my god. Did UEFI fail? I'm just saying UEFI now to get under Sparky's skin. Alright, well, let's reboot that one more time, shall we? That was odd. Yeah, we're switching to Ubuntu for March. We're going backwards in progression. I love it. All right, so did I do partition 2 or did I do partition 1 the first time? Oh, let's just try that one, and then we'll try partition 2 if that fails. Okay. It's a different error now. Let's see what happens. I could have messed up the image burn. If you've been a long time follower of the channel, you guys will probably remember when I did a live stream on YouTube, and it was a Debian install that just like, it took me like 3 hours to install Debian, which is ridiculous. It should take like 10 minutes. And the whole reason for that was, is this gonna work? Okay, we'll see. The actual USB stick was bad. So, yeah. That sucked. So we sat there for like 3 hours trying to install Debian on a bad USB stick. Oh, it's so great. All right, what do we got here? Yeah, that all looks good. No proxy. Mirror address. Yeah, that's fine. We're going to use... Oh. This is where we could totally wipe out our system, so let's pay attention. All right, which one should we use? All right, it's one of these. Is it 850 or 860? I think it's 850 from the look of it. No, actually it's 860. Because the 1 gig VFAT, that would be an EFI partition. It has swap, and it has BetterFS not mounted. So this would have been my old root partition. We're going to just select that. And we'll wipe all of our existing stuff out. I think there's about 3 months worth of progress. So file system summary is this. Ooh, you know what? Let's go back one. Can I specify? Let's just do custom. Yeah, there's just too much going on here. All right, let's see what we got. Yeah, let's not format everything. Let's see here. Local disk. That is putting it as EFI. It's been so long since I've actually messed around with this. And I'm looking to see if there's anything. Because I want to change that. I would like to not use ext4. I mean, this would technically work just fine. Yeah, well, you know me. I think I do have some labels on there, but I forget, I'm not actually looking at the UUIDs on these things through here. So it already formatted and that should be fine, actually. All right. I guess we can use that. I don't know why it makes the EFI partition 512 megs, though. Fine. I think it's fine. We're going to just roll with that. Why not? All right, selecting continue will blah, 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 loss for continue. All right, we're going to make this Titus. Server name is going to be Studio PC. I try to always keep it Studio PC. Titus. Let's see. Make some super secure password. Oh, yeah, let's do that. I always usually do SSH. This is kind of like a task select, so I'm just checking to see if there's anything in here I really like. Ooh, Google Cloud. I do connect every once in a while. We can do that afterwards, though. It's not a big deal. So that should see what we get, and let's view the full log. as it does its thing. Yeah. Oh, they're snaps. Ooh, good call. Didn't do that. So this is the first time I've actually used. This is Focal Fossa 20, Ubuntu 20, and I've never installed Ubuntu 20. I know they put more snaps in it, as I know there's a big push. I remember talking to Alan a little bit about it, and he said, hey, we like snaps, and we like pushing snaps so much because they all have all these versions to support. You know, they still support, I think, Ubuntu 14, 16, 18, all the LTS versions, and when they do a snap, they don't have to rebuild that, or whenever they do updates, they don't have to update it 5 different repos. They can just update their snap repo. That's the whole purpose of snaps. Now, I've already told you why snaps suck, but that's why they do snaps. Yeah, so what we're going to do, OG, as soon as this boots up, we're going to go ahead and remove snaps 100%. Like, we're going to just completely clear out all our snaps. We're going to remove the snapd package and anything that with it, and we're going to see if we can modify it. I know on Ubuntu 18 server, I would always do this. I haven't tried it on Ubuntu 20, so there is some problems we might run into with that, as I know they've become more reliant on snaps, but I don't know. We'll see how much snaps are built into the base package. But like I said, I think I'm fairly confident we can go ahead and remove snapd package and any snaps with it, and then replace it with what we need. We'll see. Yeah, so I'm not going to ignore snapd. I'm just going to remove snapd. I want to purge it. So I will purge all of snap. Yeah, exactly, dude. Dude from the... it should... I've never had a problem removing snaps. So, like, a lot of my gripes about Ubuntu, let's just take out the politics and all the drama-inducing crap, and really, it's just the packages they choose to install, I don't like, and then I don't like snaps. That's it. So doing a base server install, removing snapd, that pretty much gives me a blank canvas to work with, much like as if I was installing on Arch. So we'll do that. And honestly, there's a lot of just cool stuff. So I think this should be fun. All right, so we got everything installed here. We'll see if I actually installed it. Let's did it format everything? No. Right? No. God, that would suck if it formatted all my drives. I guess we're gonna find out. It wouldn't be the first time it formatted all my drives. Yeah, that GUI, or it's not really a GUI. I guess it was still command line, but it was super funky. We'll see what we get on our startup here. We'll do light DM, pimp it out. So we'll actually probably call back. I'll probably pull up christitus.com, redo like the display manager, get all that going, get it looking pretty. Probably isn't the last either. OG knows me too well. All right, what do we got? What the hell? All right. I was at. Can I log in? Okay. All right, let's log in here. First thing we do, sudo apt update. We'll update sudo apt upgrade. Okay, Cool. Well, so it's pretty, because it's a daily build, there's really not much going on here as far as updates go. So we're pretty much up to date. And now we start our customization. How we want to do this? Probably light DM's the very first thing I want to get. You know what? I made a little cheat sheet here of packages that I absolutely have to have. So I'm going to actually pull that in. What do we got? We'll grab light DM. We'll use Mate Core as well. So let's go ahead, install light DM. Although Mate Core might install GDM. We'll see. Let's go sudo apt install light DM. Oh, that's a few packages, isn't it? Lordy, what in the hell? Oh, no. It's trying to install GNOME here, isn't it? I see. You trickster. What abomination did you do with the light DM? Let's see. No, I think it's just no, there's GNOME. I see it. GNOME session bin. GNOME power manager. No. What? No. Bad. Bad Ubuntu. Ah! No. All right. I hope the light... Oh, you know what? Let's just do a task. Select. Install. You know what? We're going to need sudo for this. I probably should just switch user as root. Run as root. Install mate core. Come on. It's not in there. Sudo apt install. You know what? Let's purge snapd first. Snapd. Alright, removing snapd. The following packages will be installed and no longer required. Squash fs and snapd. Alright. Removing snaps first before I forget. Let's get rid of snaps. So snaps are gone. Now let's install apt install task select. This will make our job a little easier. And I think we can just do Ubuntu core. So let's grab mate core. So we're going to go sudo task select. And we're going to go ahead and do install mate core. The core packages should only be like 20 something packages. Okay, that didn't. What? No. Sudo task select. What happened here? Mate minimal. All right. So we have a cloud image. Is there anything else in here we want? File server? Yeah, sure. Samba? We'll probably need some Samba. Audio recording and editing suite. I just don't want to pick very much out of here. Yeesh. The thing about Ubuntu is some of these packages will just install a billion things. So let's see what it grabs. That's 1,000 packages? Seems a bit excessive. It seems like it's going to just install a billion things, isn't it? Okay. I mean, it is all of X. It is all of X11. There's a lot of libraries it's grabbing. It's not that bad. It's not that bad. Yeah. Yeah, you're right. You're right, Jalopy. You just installed Ubuntu minimal. Yeah, so a mate minimal basically is what it is. I don't know. Pretty fast, so I'm about 100 down there, dude. So Um, it looks like it grabbed pretty much everything. It's just installing now. So the download's already done. So relatively fast. So yeah, that's the thing. I'm trying to do it like I would do Arch. Using task select probably wasn't what I meant to do, but I'm looking at the packages kind of as it scrolls by here, just to see if there's anything in there. I don't want to see like a whole bunch of GNOME stuff. That would be bad. But there's Firefox. It's not the end of the world. I don't know, Tech Ben. How long I'll use this for? Usually when I set up my studio PC, I'll use it for months usually. This last version, this last iteration, how long has it been? A month, 2 months, something like that. Usually I'll just go through and install what I need. And if a video comes out or something that, people are curious about, this is kind of like my test bed where I can just do whatever I want and never have to worry about it. And really the whole purpose of doing this is if this works really, really well, which I'm already not liking a lot of how many packages and things it grabs when you're installing certain things, but we'll see what happens here. I mean, most of what I'm seeing here is just libraries, X server, the occasional GNOME package, which isn't bad. I mean, GNOME and Mate are very close to each other, so we'll see what it all does. But the thing I don't like about this is when I go to install a package on Ubuntu, it is grabbing just a crap ton of dependencies. And it is also very early in here, and there's no GUI tools, obviously, since it's server. So the very first one we do, it's going to grab just a crap ton. Oh, look at that. It's installing Snapd. It's installing Snapd. Damn you. There's Snapd. Revenge of the Snap. Trying to get in there. Yeah, I know, Hikari. You should add the PPAs just to get native packages on APT instead of the mix of fake Debian packages. Okay, yeah, let's do that, Hikari. I think you sent that to me too, man. We'll do that. We'll do the Pop OS PPA. I really do like a lot of Pop OS's configuration too, by the way. I always have been a big fan of Pop. I don't like how it looks out of the box, and I obviously don't like GNOME, but everything else about System 76's Pop OS is great. Really, Chris? I'll never use Mate again. It's probably the slowest DE in existence. No, come on. GNOME's the slowest DE in existence. Let's be real here. GNOME's a lot slower than Mate. Yeah, so Deb-based systems work differently than Arch Linux. They're separate from main packages. APT handles dependencies much better way than Arch Linux. I'm no fan of Pacman and how Arch Linux handles a lot of its install process. It kind of sucks, and I will totally concede that. But there's certain things about Arch I really do enjoy. A lot of the granular things about Arch are great. Picking exactly what you want. So the whole thing why I really love Arch, and why I always end up going to it, is because I can pick exactly what I want. Exactly, to a T. And I'll be like, all right, I only want these packages. I install that. It's great. When you get into a lot of the Debian-based systems, you have all these, because it's so good at resolving a lot of these things, it does add a little bit more packages, and some of the dependencies and things that it adds with it can bloat up the system a little bit easier than Arch, I should say. Not that either approach is bad. It's just different approaches. At the end, it's basically it. So, are you kidding me? Yeah. You tried to join with it? It's just black screen. Uh-huh. Go ahead and type his name in and see if it pops up. Because I tested that before. Yeah, see what it says. Let me know. Ugh. We're having some technical issues inside. All right. DNF is slow. I like DNF. DNF is actually faster than APT. Like, a lot faster. All right, so now let's try and configure LightDM. I want to go ahead and configure out to that sudo apt install LightDM. LightDM's already installed. All right, that's good. So if we do a listing, there's all of that. Let's go ahead and attach some of our media storage and see if we can't get that going here as well. I want to go ahead and just try and bring it up with our current system as well. No, my son's trying to get on telehealth kind of thing. And apparently the video and microphone wasn't working. And I was like, man, I just set that up this morning to double check to make sure. But, you know, sometimes it doesn't work. So, all right, we're going to go main pool. All right, let's just, sudo su. We're going to just make directory. I'm going to just attach some of my things. So main pool, make directory games, make directory backups. And then I want to pull in that fstab that I had. So if I can grab my backups directory and attach that, that'd be choice. Let's do a blk id. Oh, and you hit OK, allow? Yeah. Okay, sweet. I was like, man, I know I did that this morning and I checked it, so. Yeah. You're welcome. I love you. All right, we're good. All right. Let's see what we got here. So we got UUID, and I don't think I can pull that from console, can I? No. All right. All right, let's reboot this thing. Let's see what it looks like. Oh, crap. I needed to uninstall Snapd, by the way. KR Grace, love it, man. Love you. Crun job, uninstall Snapd. It is Ubuntu. We might need to do that. Do it like at reboot. apt purge Snapd. Oh, Lord. All right, let's see what we got here. Let's try log in. All right. Yeah, all right, so we got to fix the graphics first. God, you know the thing about mate or mate, whatever. I always say mate and mate, but I like mate. It kind of rolls off the tongue, but people always make fun of me when I say it that way. It just looks so darn ugly. Like, who thought green was a good color? I just gotta say. And let me see, I'm just gonna see if I can't attach this real fast. Just doing it. Maybe I can. Is it this way? There we go. Actually, you know what? Let me go to System Tools. Maybe I can set that up, that xrandar that we talked about, because I knew we were gonna have some issues. Displays. So what do you guys think? Mate or mate? Same image on both. All right. Now we're cooking. Mate. Yeah. I don't like mate or mate. That's fair. That's a fair criticism. I'm not a big fan. I really don't like the desktop environment, but it is pretty lightweight. What are we looking at HTOP real fast? Oh, that's what I should have done before getting out of Arch. I should have done an HTOP. So right now we're at about 780 megs, and now we start our customization. All right, let's grab our backups. Damn it, why didn't I label these? All right, mate, no, boot, label swap, data. Is that it? I think that's it. Data 1, data 1. I think that should get me there. Sudo data etc fstab. All right, let's see if we can't add this, right? Day equals that, and we're gonna mount that to media backup. And ooh, what is that? That's a better FS. And we're gonna do read, write, execute, and I feel like there's something else I'm missing there. Read, write, execute. Whatever. Should be good enough. Sudo mount A. That might have worked. So now we can fix our monitors on startup, right? Media. Actually, you know what? Let's pull up our browser. Our file browser, right? You can tell I don't use mate or mate very much. All right. Now, if I go into Studio here, we got fstab and credentials. I think we should be able to fix all of that up. And fix monitor. Okay, cool. It's there. Oh, I don't have any of my shortcuts. This is painful. We're not going to be living in mate very much longer, though. We just want to get all this fixed up and pretty. So let's go into media, backups, Synology drive. Oh, bonus! I didn't wipe out my backups, so I got that going for me. All right, let's copy fix monitors. We're gonna copy that fix monitors, and we're gonna push that over to. You know what? Let's just do. We're gonna run as root. Don't ever run as root, but we're gonna run as root. So let's copy fix monitors over to user local bin. All right, that's a user local bin, and then let's nano fstab. Now, don't copy fstab, guys. That would be a bad idea. But let's see what we got here. So this is that, but we still need to grab this line and these two lines as well. Let's see what we get. Grab these two, copy, and what else we got? Games. We'll come back for games, right? Nano etc fstab. And we'll toss that guy down here. Write that out. And we also need to copy server creds over to the home directory. Since we're running as root, the home directory would technically be /root. So if you do ls root, you'll see that we have the server. Oh, snaps. I almost forgot to forget snaps. apt purge snapd. Get out of here, snaps. We don't want your kind around here. You're not welcome. Billy, cat, creds. I'm on to you, sir. That's good. Root. What is the server creds? Ooh, we got read privileges for root, guys. That's not good. So we need to fix that. Server creds shouldn't have read on user, or they shouldn't have read on groups or guest. Right now, there's read privileges on server creds, which is not. That's no bueno at all. So we'll change that to chmod 600. Yeah, let's just do it right here. Chmod 600, and we'll go root server creds. So if we do the same thing, now our server creds are read write as root only. So they're hidden. They're hidden away from your guys' eyeballs. So now we can edit fstab with impunity. All right, actually, let's grab that games as well. Might as well. So we'll copy that guy. And this should pretty much bring all our data back that I need access to. And we should be good. Erp. Help if I... So I keep calling this fstab, but it's actually fstab. So it's actually file system tab. But for whatever reason, I just see it and I'm like, fstab. But it's file system tab. That's really the proper way to say it. But I'm going to keep butchering it because I like saying fstab. Just rolls off the tongue. It's file system table. I know. It drives everybody crazy. And I get it. It would drive me crazy too. But yeah, come on. fstab. All right. All right. So now we have that. Let's do a mount -a. Ooh. Can't chdr into medium. So let's make that directory. Make directory media images. We missed a directory, didn't we? Now let's mount a. So why you do mount a after editing your fstab? Because you could have a bad syntax, you could have a whole bunch of nastiness, and if you have any errors on the fstab, you're going to have a failed boot. And then you're going to have to go into grub and then do like a single user mode and drop to terminal or TTY, and then yeah, it just sucks. So if you ever edit fstab, I said fstab again. But if you ever do, make sure you always do a mount a as root, just to make sure it mounts properly. All right, so we got that. Now let's edit our light DM real fast. Let's go cd etc light DM, right? And ooh, so light DM configuration changed a little bit. I think it should be in here, right? Oh man. We are using light DM, right? I don't know. I thought mate used GDM, but I could be wrong. Light DM status. Oops. That's funny. This is an Ubuntu 16. All right. Yeah. So light DM is still working. We'll pimp that out here in a bit. So I think we're ready to move on to the next stage of this. I think we got pretty much everything, all the data we need to grab all there. And now we can start actually making this look good. Yeah, service. I had a throwback to to the old days. I still have service, man. I still like service better than system control. But, you know. You you all understand how that goes. Sometimes you just have a brain fart and you're like, all right. So we got pretty much all of our data back, and we have access to all the stuff we had. Now, obviously, all our system is still not configured, but we can start configuring it. Mate's about to go bye-bye. So let's, actually, you know what? I needed the terminal more. Like, I think we can go right into this. Yeah. Yeah, we can. Do I wipe out Firefox? Nah, let's keep Firefox for now. I've been leaving Firefox a lot lately just because, I don't know, there's something nice just having Firefox there in case I need it. Even though I know it adds a little bloat to the system, but not bad. All right. We got LightDM, we got all that. I think we can, let's see here. Start installing packages. Oh, what's the maximize command? God, I gotta get out of this. All right, let's start installing Awesome. I gotta get out of Mate. It's driving me crazy. It's taking too long to install stuff. So we're gonna go Awesome, Fonts, Roboto, Rofi, i3 Lock, Xclip, Compton. Is Compton in there? Let's see. All right, no i3 lock. You know what? I don't think I'm gonna even. Nah, we can leave Compton. What are we grabbing? Just making sure. Whenever I grab any window manager stuff, I always check to see what it's installing, because sometimes you get that dependency where it just grabs like a billion packages. So always check. Also, I do still like Nautilus. I am so horrible about this, guys, and I know you guys are going to crucify me for saying this, but even though I'm always hating on GNOME, I do love their file manager still. All right, what's it grabbing? All right, let's see here. See, not much. Not much. Just a few dependencies. What is that? Maybe... It's like maybe 20 packages. I can live with that. What else do I need? Let's grab style plugins. Sudo apt install qt5 style plugins. So we're going to grab some style plugins. That's just to kind of, we're going to make a uniform look between our GTK applications and Qt applications. That's what style plugins does. Grab the Materia GTK theme. apt install Materia GTK theme. You know what? Help if we were sudo. Ah, look at that. Sudo exclamation explanation. Ah, I'm starting to learn that one, guys. When I was just new to the Linux desktop, I never used sudo exclamation. When you forget sudo, that's such a time saver of a command. All right, we got Materia, sudo apt install. I like to use Flameshot for a lot of my screen snaps, so I love the little Flameshot icon. And LX appearance, as we will not be using the what is it? The appearance settings from Mate. For whatever reason, it requires you to do the settings daemon, which kind of sucks. Not a big fan. All right, and what else we got? I think we got a Papyrus PPA we need to add. Actually, no. Yeah. Did this lock up? Damn, it locked up on me, didn't it? Ah! Locked up. Little reboot. We'll get back into it. Oh, man. Oh. Yeah. Thank you. I3 lock is actually I3 lock, one space. There's actually a hyphen, I think, on Arch. I could be wrong on that, though. I could be wrong. Yeah, Papyrus does look a little cartoonish. I will say that. You're absolutely right. I kind of like it, though. It's fine. All right, let's sudo apt install i3 lock. Yep, nailed it. There better not be snapd on here. We just purged that. I don't think it installed it on startup. But if it did, it would be hilarious if it did. I would love that so much. Yeah. Let's see. apt sudo apt purge snapd. Yeah. Snapd is not installed. Just thought I'd check. Oh, that would have been hilarious if that actually made it in. Sudo apt. What do we got? Oh, actually, let's add a repository. Apt repository. This is a PPA. Papyrus. And this is just an icon theme I'm grabbing real fast, so nothing too crazy. I don't like to use PPAs if I can avoid it. And I could technically download this with like a wget and manually install, but that's a little bit too much for just an icon theme. If it was a program or something I was using a lot, I might reconsider that. But for today, I think this will be fine. All right, I think we got all that done. I think installing a Synology drive would be next. That's what I use. It's like my Dropbox for most people, but it connects right into my Synology. Is that on here? Synology drive? I don't think this will work. Yeah, Synology drive. I didn't figure, but thought, hey, that would be cool. That just worked. Download, or actually, is there a repo for Synology drive? Maybe not. That would have been cool. But alas. Nope. Oh, yeah, Sparky. Let's do that. Let's add that repo for System 76 because I do love System 76. Let's do that. Sudo add apt repository PPA system 76 and pop. This PPA is for Pop! OS. It can cause breakage in other Ubuntu-based OSs. This repository is on non-Pop! OS installation. Is use at your own risk. Cool. Let's live on the edge. Let's do an update after this just to see how many packages it wants to upgrade. I'm curious. Sudo apt update. Only 8 packages. Apt list. Upgradable. Nothing crazy. GNOME settings demons running though. There must have been some dependency that installed that. Screw it. Let's just upgrade it. What are we doing? I'm approaching for ooh. Yikes. Yeah, Pop OS wallpapers. I wish they would they could do I think they can make it a lot cleaner and cooler looking, honestly, but you know. We got some new Linux firmware coming in from System 76. I think that's probably the biggest package that's installing from this PPA. Or maybe that was just a package that got left behind. I don't know. I guess we'll find out. Yeah, Pop uses GNOME, and I'm not a big fan of GNOME, obviously. All right. Don't tell me it locked up again. All right, what do we got? Product type. What happened there? Synology drive, Linux. Download center. Yeah, fine, whatever. It's a NAS box. I got a 1019, I think. Let's see. 1019. Yeah, 5bay. And desktop utilities. Synology drive client. 64-bit dev. Ooh, do I install it here? Or do I install it through the browser? Well, let's try it. Let's try it through here. Try it through the package installer. Yeah. Install. What's that do? All right, I get a little ADD on these. So let's continue on. Yeah, I think that should do that. Did that install all the way? Whoa, what is going on? Ubuntu base. Oh, okay. Well, that's 14 megs. That shouldn't be bad. Let's see what it's installing. Watch it be snapd in here. Okay, it just went from 14 megs to 300. What? What is going on? What in the devil is this? Font viewer for GNOME. Desktop. Calculator. Disk usage. What in the hell? Oh, this is from the Pop. This is from the Pop package. Okay, so Pop, when I added that, it now wants to install a bunch of crap. I got you. And then also grab all this. No. What the hell? Nope. 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 We are not doing that. Damn it, Sparky. I blame you, man. It's all your fault. I don't want all that crap. What do we got? Let's look at our sources list. Let's look at our sources list. What all do we have in here? All right, we got Ubuntu, nothing too crazy. All that looks fine. Let's go into sources list.d. Remove system 76. Yeah, we ain't doing all that. That ain't gonna fly. Auto clean. APT, auto remove. APT, update. All right, cool. Yeah, I got rid of that. I'm not installing GNOME and all that junk. As soon as I added that PPA from System 76, it wanted to install GNOME and really bloat things up. What are we at? Right now we're at 740 megs, so we actually went down in memory usage since we started, which is fine. I want to keep that low. Mate uses some GNOME dependencies. Not many, though. I've been kind of keeping a tight leash on it, trying not to let it bloat up. Yeah, GNOME, Mate is based on GNOME 2, so there's some issues with that, so that's fine. All right, so we got that. Now we're gonna... did we get Papyrus installed? I can't remember. I think we did. I think we got the icon theme installed. Got pretty much everything going. Ah, Synology Drive is where I was at. Synology Drive. What do we got? God, I can't wait to get out of Mate. Synology Drive. Where are you at? Ah, hell. We'll just launch it from terminal. Or maybe we won't. All right. We're going to make a symbolic link to that awesome... Or should I just copy it? Probably should just copy it. Nah, I want to do the Synology link. We'll do that. All right, Synology. I want to get that tied in just in case it messes with me. No, Synology Drive. Maybe it didn't install properly. Nothing's in my downloads directory. Nah, poop. You know what? I think I ran Synology directly from when I downloaded it. All right, let's re-download this. And this time I'm just going to do it through command. I like to install through command line just so you can see exactly what's going on. When you do the application stores and things, I'm just never sure if it actually installed the damn thing or not. Like, it still is like a question mark to me. Like, there's only like a couple good software stores in Linux, and most of them just really, really suck. So we're going to just drop that into downloads and see if I can remember the syntax. Because it has been a while since I used dpackage, but... Alright, we're going to go sudo dpackage -i Synology Drive. Let's see what this does. Yeah, it looked like a pretty straight install. Yeah. It's pretty simple. Like I said, it's been a little bit since I used it, but at the same time, it shouldn't be. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Let's start now. Sync task. Let's go mail.christitus.com. Oh, shouldn't have said that on stream. All right, and local folder is gonna be media folder. Let's grab that. Media. We're not gonna do that. We're gonna do backups. Synology Drive. Okay. Actually, you know what? Let's go back. Yeah. That was the proper syntax. I was like, sometimes you need to put it as the root, or sometimes you need to do it as the other. So I was like, do I really need to do that? And the answer is yes. Oh, dab time. Oh, man. Done. Got me, man. All right. 1 second. I'm going to start the sync process, and then we're going to do a little dabbing. A little cringe. to round this guy out. It's a good wake up for me. All right, here we go. Maybe later. All right, we got Synology going. That is syncing. And we will close that out. We're going full screen with this guy. Full screen dab. Dab time. The dab. You guys love it. Yes, time shift for all your backup needs. So fun fact, I think it was on, we'll get back to this. I'm just letting this sync take place. Hopefully it syncs all right. I'm going to pull it up here just so I have it in the background. See what all it's syncing. It looks like it's just processing all the files that are there, and it should be fine. Maybe. But yeah, no. So I did do some switch outs this past bit with the camera. You guys noticed the camera. And then also I switched out something else too. Can't remember what it was. Oh well, I already did that on a stream. God, I hope that's not overriding all my crap. It's always dicey when you got these sync programs. But all right, let's go back to desktop. I think it'll be fine. Yeah, I think one time, what was it? Hikari redeemed 3 dabs in a row. I was like, oh my god. And you gotta have fun with that too. Like the dab is meant mainly as just a reward for those people that stick around and accumulate points and stuff. And I was like, what would I want? Like if I'm watching someone, what would I want? I would want to make them do something super cringe. And I couldn't think of anything more cringe than a dab. So that's like the whole purpose of the dab is really just that. For the cringe. Ooh. All right, my sync got stuck on server creds, which we can actually wipe that out. I don't even want that there. Where is that at? CD. All right, let's go back to desktop. And Synology Drive, Studio, and we're gonna remove sudo remove server creds. All right, that should clear that out. I would totally dab in public, man. Eventually, I'll go to like a speaking engagement and do that. Do a dab in front of everybody. Yeah, Hikari. So the whole reason I removed the System 76 PPA is it was trying to install a full version of GNOME. It was installing a bunch of nastiness there, man. It's really gonna bloat up the install. Now, if I chose GNOME to begin with, I mean, it would have been fine. But I want to stay away from the full blown desktop orientation of GNOME. But I get what you're saying. Like, is there any snap that I'll use from that repo? That's probably the biggest question here, is that. So I get the reason for using the System 76 PPA, but at the same time, is there really any snaps that Ubuntu's using that I'll install? I mean, I still don't have snapd on here, and I have pretty much all my packages installed that I want to use. Oh, yeah. Let's do that. Let's grab a NeoFetch real fast. But I was going to do NeoFetch at the end. We'll go ahead and install it, though. while we're waiting on our sync here. System monitor package, snap and APT. I believe I actually already have a system monitor. Mate system monitor. Let's see. Yeah, mate system monitor. That's not a snap. So, I mean, if I was using GNOME, yeah, I would definitely be installing a ton of snaps. But I think they only snapified the GNOME, the gnomes. So since I'm using Mate or Mate, it's you know, I don't think an issue. Ah, okay. Well, I don't think we need it. So I think we're fine. I'll definitely keep an eye on Snapd because Snapd is going to be a dependency for a lot of things in the APT's Ubuntu repo. But at the same time, right now we only have one PPA installed, and that's just for an icon theme. So, and that's a Papyrus icon theme that we installed. I want to kind of keep that low. So I don't want to bloat this up. But I totally get where you're coming from, Sparky and Hikari, for sure. So, I think with this, let's go ahead and do a link. Because I think I already have what I wanted here. Let's see. And I think I have a universal desktop, is what I call it. So what I do is I keep all my awesome configs directly here. So I'm going to actually do a link to this. So while this sync's happening, hopefully it doesn't sync over some of these files that's here. I don't think anything's changed. But let's see here. We'll copy this guy. And what I want to do is this. I'm going to go a link, make a symbolic link to home titus.config. Awesome. And we'll make that. But actually, you know what? I think I got that swapped around the wrong way. Oh, no, maybe not. No, that's right. Oh my god. Dab already? All right. Do it. Another dab. I think it maxes out. You can sell out of the dabs, as I learned one stream. So I'm going to go the other way with this time. It is dab time. Oh, dab. I love you guys. So great. All right, here we go. CD config. Let's see what we did with this link. cd.config. And cd awesome. Ooh. What did I do with that awesome link? Yeesh. I might have done a symbolic link to the wrong thing. That would be a sad face, wouldn't it? Would be the first time I did something wrong. Yeah. I did. Let's cd. Sudo remove awesome. All right. And now let's go back into home.config. And now I'm going to try and make the proper link. So, didn't put a space there. We're going to try and make a proper symbolic link. This is kind of a weird setup because what I want to do is kind of sync my config across all my PCs. So I'm reading all my files from Synology Drive, which I just hooked up. And then that way it'll be universal. So I'll have like an Ubuntu system, I'll have an Arch system, I'll have this system, but they all look exactly the same. And if I make one change on one of the PCs, it syncs to all the other ones. The trick here is like the settings daemons and all the packages need to be pretty close. So you can get yourself into some trouble doing this. But I always like to break things. So at the same time, it's really cool just to have everything universal or uniform. So we're going to put this in home, Titus, and we'll call this one .config. And I think that should make an awesome link. Awesome. I think that does it. Let's see. Should be the proper syntax. Okay, so then if we go cd awesome. Okay, cool. So we have everything there. So on reboot, let's go ahead and pimp out our light DM because it's still syncing. And while the sync happens, let's make our system look pretty. Billy, I think I've done that video. I think it's called Make Your Desktop Awesome on YouTube. But we're going to do it real fast here too. And I also have a GitHub. So if you go github.com/ChrisTitusTech, all the config files are there. And that was actually a fork from Hikari, which he forked it from El Papa Gringo, if I'm correct there. But anyways, let's go ChrisTitusTech.com, or no, ChrisTitus.com. Some troll bought Chris Titus Tech, but I've had Chris Titus forever. So let's see, where did I? Here we go. Light DM config. So the whole reason why I've had Chris Titus for more than a decade, ChrisTitus.com for more than a decade, is so I could just pop in issues and crap that I run into, and then I'll be like, okay, I want to change this around. So it's kind of a fun way of doing things. So I need to get WebKit 2. Do I have the dependencies in this how-to guide? I don't think I did do WebKit 2, did I? Oh, I fail. I failed at my guide. This relies on WebKit 2. Well then, let's download WebKit 2. Download WebKit 2. Ubuntu. I'm using Ubuntu. What's this package called in Ubuntu? WebKit team. It really requires a APT. It requires a PPA for WebKit 2? No. That's not it. That's not it. WebKit 2 Light DM. Ooh, here we go. Really? Huh. I already missed the AUR. That's funny. All right, yeah. WebKit. I think it's just regular WebKit. How long ago was this? Oh no, this is holy shiitake mushrooms. That's super old. I think it's just WebKit 2 though. We can take this syntax and install it. But look at this. This is like a 7-year-old article. Yeah, dark mode, please. I agree. We will be there shortly. I think we can just go. Let's see if it's in the APT. Need sudo. WebKit 2 greeter. Where the hell's a WebKit 2? It must be a PPA then. Let's go WebKit 2 greeter. Let's go to GitHub. I bet they have a GitHub. All right, light DM that blah blah blah. Where's Ubuntu? Not found. That's a little disheartening. No, you think just regular WebKit will do? All right. I guess we can try regular WebKit. Oh, no. That's not even a package anymore. Or at least it's not in the Foca Fossa repos. All right. WebKit 2. Greeter. Let's check PPA, I guess. Oops. All right. We could just grab the deb package here. This hadn't been updated since 17.10 though. Do I dare? Ah, hell with it. You can grab it. Yeah, let's do a APT search. I agree with you. WebKit. Let's see what's here. I agree with that. That was a good suggestion there, Invisible. So I would imagine it'd be lightdm-webkit. Let's see. Man, I don't see nothing. I got nothing here. All right. There's a WebKit 2 GTK Ruby. That's not it though. Nope. All right. Well, let's grab an old deb file. It'd be funny if I broke this before I even got it going. All right. We'll just grab it from the old OpenSUSE.org. Why not? Why do you prefer Ubuntu over other systems? Ubuntu's my most hated system, man. I don't like Ubuntu at all. I typically use Arch, but I always tell people distribution doesn't matter. So if it doesn't matter, let's use my most hated. Since I don't like APT, I don't like dpackage that much. So we're just going to use that. Build out our system as if it was Arch system. So now we have LightDM installed. Let's look, what does LightDM look like in the directory, etc directory? We got the WebKit to greeter.conf. We still don't, let's look at users. What's users look like? Nothing. We still don't actually have a lightdm.conf though. That's so weird. I've never seen lightdm without the .conf. So I guess we could just grab the lightdm.conf, but very weird. Very odd, I should say. I should have just copied my entire lightdm conf. But let's see. Build lightdm.conf. If I was smart, that's what I would have done, but I copied everything but that. It does just read comp D, but so here's how lightdm works on Ubuntu. LightDM configured with the following files. So it first grabs from users share lightdm conf-comp files. Then it goes to this directory, and then finally it loads lightdm.conf last. So you can drop the comp files directly in any three of these directories, and it should read from it. There's also an additional file, users.conf. So how it works on Arch and how it works on Debian-based systems, a little different. Still pretty much the same, though. I mean, nothing too crazy here. I just usually have a template to work off of. And usually, I'm just directly using the lightdm.conf on the etc directory. None of these are wrong. And we can utilize it however we want. So we'll do seat defaults. So we can grab our display setup script. That's kind of important. And there'll be some other things we want to grab as well. So let's go ahead and just build a lightdm.conf. Nano light dm.conf. And we'll just build it from scratch. This is going to be the user local bin And what was that called? Fixmonitors.conf or .sh? Oh, hell, I don't remember. Yes. Oops. Oh, well, that's all right. We need a list of user local bins, so I grab the right file. Fixmonitors.conf, so that would do it. So we're going to go ahead, sudo nano lightdm.conf and fixmonitors.sh. Ooh, yeah, we need to do the full path. That would have been bad. User local bin fixmonitors.conf. So this basically sets up the display to be proper. And what we'll do here is copy and paste this command in just to run it, as I want to make sure it doesn't mess up. So let's go ahead, do a sh, paste that in. As you saw, it kind of flickered there for a minute, but it ran the file and everything looks good both on stream and here. So that's a good setup file. Next, let's I guess we're just gonna make this from scratch, but whatever. Greeter session. We need to probably overwrite this to WebKit, so we can see what greeters we have by just doing this. Listing. And you'll see that we have LightDM WebKit 2 greeter right here. Now, by default, the slick greeter is usually in there, but we're not going to use it. So let's overwrite the slick greeter. We'll come back into the .conf file. And this usually goes before display setup, I believe. Ooh, let's see. Greeter-session. So this is going to be greeter-session equals light w2. All right. Let's see what else we need. Probably set the user session. This is the default desktop environment that it usually goes into. So the user session, we'll put that as awesome. So let's grab that. This is going to be a pretty bare bones. User-session equals awesome. This will default the actual desktop environment, or window manager in this case, to awesome instead of mate. And next, I wanted to do that theme. So going back to the website, we should be able to pick out everything. Now, we do have an auto login here, which we could do. Yeah, I'm going to do an auto login as well. Why not? I don't think I did auto login last time, but really, this isn't a multi-user system, and I don't really care that much. So we're going to do an auto login as well. So we're going to modify this a bit. And we'll just put our username, Titus. What else we got? So we'll modify this just to be a little cleaner. Configuration, changing the theme. All right, so this is all of that. We changed that already. Changing the desktop environment. That's that user session. That should be down here. We're changing that to awesome. That's good. Then auto login. Oh, we actually just did that as well. VNC. I don't really like the VNC portion of this. Now, what was the actual theme I was using that was really clean? That's what I really came here for. Damn it. I suck at writing articles. Where's the theme, Chris? Come on, man. This is false advertising. I'm going to have to come back and edit this article. This is just depressing. All right. WebKit 2 theme. I can't... So disappointed with that article. Where was that theme? It was probably in the video, but still. Where was it? I think, was it material 2? No, I don't think it was material. I want to say it was something different. Yeah, keeping your documentation straight between all these installs are a little bit challenging. And oh well. Well, we can pip out that later. How's our sync doing? God, is this still going? You have any issues? Synology Drive auto start. How's that in there? Huh. It's weird. What the hell is it syncing MSG files for? All right. All right, let's go ahead and reboot. And I think we got enough to at least get back to my desktop and enough installed to where it should be normal. And then let's see what we're looking at. The login screen won't be the identical how it was with Arch just yet. We'll still need to modify and grab that theme, but everything else should be pretty normalized. But we'll clean up that startup. And it should drop me right into what I'm used to. Let's see. And it did not. We got some other stuff going in the background here. I think Mate is overriding this somehow. So let's go system settings. There's something in here that's messing with me. Ah, that was it. Thank you, Fire. Yeah, Vim is definitely way faster than Nano. And it's way more powerful. Like the ability to open up other files and like copy paste from those files directly into your Vim when you're editing is a big deal. Type Vim space tutor and it'll walk you through the setup process. And it's really good. It is really good. Let's see. Why is it messing with me on the startup? You know what? I'm going to check to make sure like GDM and other things aren't installed. Let's do that. I don't think GDM is installed, but let's just make sure. Yeah. No, it's LightDM. Of course it's LightDM. It's active. I already checked that. Why would it do that? The user's file. Okay, so how LightDM works differently in Ubuntu, so therefore it's reading the config file elsewhere and auto logging in. So let's look at that one more time. Let's go LightDM, Ubuntu. I'm not liking Awesome Window Manager. It takes some bit, that's for sure. Synology notification constantly popping up. It's syncing a whole bunch of stuff. I think I have like 200 gigs of data. It's actually syncing through the network right now to the system. So that's why that keeps popping up. which is kind of weird. Let's see. Yeah. Well, I probably should. I'll look into that here after a bit. I'm not worried about it right now. All right, let's take a look at user share. Let's do a listing of user share light DM, and let's see what that looks like. And then we'll add lightdm.conf d. All right. Wow. All right, we got a damn. I got a lot of stuff in here. All right. Is it bad that I just want to wipe out this entire folder? Oh, heck. All right, let's cat 50 Ubuntu mate session mate. Okay. Hmm. All right. It's okay. It's all right. I'll just do this. I don't want to mess this completely up, so we're gonna just nano, or actually we'll do sudo gedit etc lightdm.conf. I'm gonna make it like my old one, but we're gonna do it in the way. Oops, I didn't install gedit. Just always reading my packages what's installing, just because I don't want to blow this up. All right. Sudo gedit etc lightdm.conf. And what I'll do here, or actually let's run that again, but we're going to do an ampersand just to drop back into terminal. All right, so this is what our looks like right now, but I just read that seat defaults is obsolete, so we're just going to grab that. Let's modify this. That's one thing about when you're reading some of these how-to guides and other things on the web. A lot of things in Linux, like they change the syntax or change how things work. So lightdm used to work with just seat defaults, but it got obsoleted, and now it should look like that. So that might fix this up, but at the same time, I don't like this being where it is. So let's cat 50, and we're just going to go through each one of these and just see what we have. So disable guest. What's that look like? It'll say allow guest equals false. I don't know why they broke out each one of these into a separate one. I guess for granularity of it, but it's just kind of weird to me. So we're going to just kind of go back and bring it into one file, because I don't like this method of managing. But to each his own. So this one, backup logs equals false. That doesn't matter. Because what I'm going to do is I'm going to just take all these and delete them. And I'm just going to put it all back into etc. Just modify it a bit. And let's cat guest wrapper. Or greeting wrapper, I should say. Lightdm greeting reader session. Okay. That's fine. Greeter session, greeter wrapper. Let's put that right here. And then guest wrapper. Let's see what that is. I don't think it really matters. I don't know why there's a guest wrapper if we disabled guest. Allow guest false. There's no point in actually having that file there. So slick greeter, I'm going to get rid of. But if we cat 50 slick greeter, it should be, what is that? It should be greeter dash session is probably what's this one. So let's look it up. Greeter dash session slick greeter. So we'll delete that. That's already here. We'll cat 50 Ubuntu mate. We've actually already catted that. That's fine. And then X server, we need that. X server command X dash core. We'll go ahead and grab that. And you know what? I'm going to throw X at the bottom. And anything else. NVIDIA. Well, what are they doing with NVIDIA, I wonder? I'm curious. Prime offload, prime. Ah, okay. That's some weirdness. If you got an NVIDIA card. I mean, this it doesn't have an NVIDIA card, so it doesn't matter. All right, cool. So we've pretty much done everything in these config files and put it directly into etc lightdm.conf. So now we can just do remove sudo remove star. And then wipes out this entire directory. So that directory's done. And next up, let's check this directory just to see what they have in there. Watch this not boot afterwards. That'd be awesome. Nothing in there. And we just have our lightdm.conf. So this now is set up to work pretty much identical to my Arch script. It's just how they had this a little different, you know. Not to say it's wrong. It's just different. So we have everything here as it should be. Let's close this out. Close this out. And now we're going to give it a reboot again. Shut down and restart. Let's see what it looks like on reboot now. Got our little ugly startup. Make sure I edit grub to do like a custom. Son of a biscuit eater. What is going on here? You guys aren't even seeing anything on your screen, are you? What? All right, there it goes. So what happened on boot up there is it just completely ignored all my settings. Why? Why did it do that? What are you doing, Ubuntu? Wait, are you the guy from YouTube? Maybe. What's up, man? Yeah, Penguin, I would say that's it. I would say it ignored him because it was wrong for whatever reason. Yeah, I mean, there's some shenanigans going on here. Yeah, so I actually wiped all that out, Sparky. All those comp files already wiped out. Let's go ahead and see if it rebuilt them. But I don't think it did. Let's take a look. Because this is the first directory it reads lightdm configuration in Ubuntu, which is user share. Lightdm. And if we do cd lightdm.conf, there's nothing there. Let's take a look. Is the guest session? Maybe it's reading that. Is there anything in here? Yeah, nothing. Let's go back one. I did see something. CD light DM dash WebKit. Maybe there's something in this WebKit. Nah, that's just themes. Ah, not CD. What are you doing? What are you doing? All right, let's start commenting out things in the comp file and see. Instead of doing a full reboot this time, I'm just going to relaunch LightDM and see what happens. Because technically it should just go to black and come right back because it should auto log in. But nano lightdm.conf sudo. All right, so looking at this, let's remove the crap I don't even care about. All right, who cares about auto login? Let's take that out. Greeter session. I have this set as LightDM WebKit 2 greeter, but maybe there's something else going on here. Let's take a look at the LightDM WebKit 2 greeter.conf. Enter ghost, user share, all that looks fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So with that said, let's do system control restart LightDM. Now this should kick us out and put us on a login screen. Okay. It did. And it should say awesome. Okay. So the config's good. Config's good. So what kind of shenanigans? There's some service that's activating and overriding LightDM on the way in. What are you doing? All right, let's take a look. Oh, you know what? It's like my terminal's not launching. That's because we don't have Terminator installed. Sorry for the white. Sorry to blind everybody. Uno momento. I get you guys here in a second. Let's fix this up. Yeah, so it's back to basically our Arch install now. But that startup, man, there's some shenanigans happening. I think I just like saying shenanigans. You know? All right, let's make this pretty. Let's make this gray on black, huh? All right, well, fair enough. Get a little transparency going on. I did install Compton, didn't I? I can't remember. I guess we're going to find out here shortly once I hit apply. System. Green on black, I'd say. Yeah, close. Ah, no, my transparency's still screwed up. But at least you guys can read the terminal now. What was that, Sparky? You said something in chat. I think I missed it. Oh. Yeah, it was actually a joke from Office Space. Fun fact. My job at the very beginning of Office Space you're writing in is Mike Judge film from the late 90s, I want to say. It has like Jennifer Aniston and some other things. And as you're driving in, that tower that says Atmos and some stuff on 635 here in Dallas, I actually worked in the building at the very, very beginning, one of the beginning scenes of Office Space, as it was filmed in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Is this Windows 11? Maybe. Yeah, you never know. The way things are going. All right, let's find LightDM. What is it? Top PS aux. Or no, What am I doing? PS aux grep light DM. What are you doing? So when you're running this Sparky, I've never actually done that command you're having me run. IS of. List of, okay. List of P, and then the PID would be, what is it? 2683. Oops, 2684. Fat fingered it. All right. Let's run this as root, shall we? Yeah. For whatever reason, it's bypassing my config file, which I went ahead and restarted the LightDM service, and that was fine. Ubuntu is overwriting my .conf file, though. I got an idea. I guess let's look at the var of, let's look at the log, you know? Let's just look at this guy right here.
What's your favorite Linux distro?
Thanks for the cheer. Oh, love it. Oh. All right, so it's launching that. It does launch the fixed monitors, man. Like, look at this. It's doing it. Loading configs from here. Loading configs from here. Wait a second. Loading configs from here. And then it loads this. So what's it doing? It's got to be... You know what? I think it's this X. When it's launching X, I think it's launching... I don't think I even need to launch X from here. I think Awesome will launch it for me. Maybe that's it. That command when running x-core. That in my .conf file might mess it up. Or we won't have a boot. One of the two. I think that's it, because I'm reading this conf file, guys. I'm looking at it. That looks different. And I just... telling you, it just seems... I don't know. Yeah, I need to change my bright. I do. Why is this bright, by the way? Oh, yeah. Let's fix that real fast too. Why we're here. Let's thank you for the letting me know. Let's change our theme, color, icon theme. Let's go papyrus, dark. Apply. Mouse cursor. I'll need to change that later. We'll work on that, but whatever. I don't know. Let's see. It's just so weird because when I did... light dmconf. I think this X server command, let's remove it. Man, I don't know. I feel like that would be better. Yeah, let's just comment it out. What's the worst that could happen? It just won't boot. Nope, not sure about that at all. We'll see. I think there's something else going on, honestly. I feel like there's another service or something that's starting up that's messing with me. Hey! Look at that. Looks like I know what I'm doing. It works now. So yeah, I guess that X, when I was running X core, it was doing something else with it. So, you know. All right, we're back to basically what we got. We got our little browser here. We got our little icon themes. Everything looking good. Almost back to our Arch thing. Now we do our NeoFetch. Now it is NeoFetch time. Ubuntu 20. Vocal Fossa. Development branch.
Will you ever make some conclusion about your Debian Chow Lang? How about Linux from scratch video?
Yeah. My Chow Lang of Debian, I would say, was a complete success. I absolutely love Debian. Vanilla Debian, I'm actually going to be making a video coming up. It's called Debian Fi. And if you're not familiar with ArchFi, it's like this basic installer where you choose all your packages. Debian Fi is much like that, except Debian based. So you get to choose exactly what you got. So I really want to make that video and see that, as I'm waiting for that script to get a little more traction, but it's a good GitHub project, and building out your own Debian with exactly all the packages, much like I would do in Arch, doing it in Debian, which is kind of like, this is like the, I don't know, the half-ass way of doing it today, just because I wanted to use Ubuntu to prove a point. And if I was going to do this like legit and no one's watching, I don't care, I would probably do it all on Vanilla Debian, as I really like Vanilla Debian and picking out each individual thing you want. Where, as we've seen during this install, there's so many things with the Ubuntu repositories where it just might install a snap instead of the actual apt package, or it might grab way too many packages that aren't necessarily dependencies that really aren't needed. So, I mean, it depends. Do I not have an IP address? Oh, no, I do. I don't know what's up with that. Might have some network manager things I need to look at, but oh well. Yeah, AMD GPUs built in. Like, as far as what I'm doing, let's do a LSPCI so you guys can see. Okay, that's a little bit much. Let's grep VGA. I am using RX 580 in this guy. So this is an AMD RX 580. And yeah, working pretty good, man, I gotta say. And yeah, I haven't really done anything. We can load up some games. I think I have all my games attached over here. If we look, I say that. Oh, you know what? Let's grab dconf. Let's grab dconf editor. Let's go sudo apt install dconf editor. All right, and we'll just go ahead and launch dconf. Yeah, I'll be careful. I'm not going to be careful. I never am. All right. Oops. You know what? Nautilus. Oh, where's that? File browser. I want to change. There's one thing about Nautilus that just drives me crazy. All right.
Sudo apt rmrf/**.
Sure, I'll do that. You did it wrong, man. Here. apt rm-rf /**. Oh, the syntax was wrong. I love it. I love it. Yeah, Billy knows what's up. That's the money shot right there. All right. Sorry, I'm drunk. I won't hold that against you at all, man. Who is later here?
Sorry,
I might
I'm drunk,
partake.
LOL.
All right, what we got? Preferences. All right, here we go. Always use location-based entry. Reload, yes. Confirm trash. No, I like to just delete. Don't remind me. Default folder viewer, icon view. Yeah, depends on the folder. Default reverse order. Okay, just setting some stuff up because you guys know me with Nautilus. So when I'm pulling up Nautilus now, I can see. I like just seeing the full path up there. I don't like all that cleanness. All right, that looks good. What kernel are we running here? We're running 5.4.0. Looks like subversion 21, actually. It's kind of weird how Ubuntu does its listing when you do a uname SR. It's like I don't know what it is. It's weird. Because normally, like in Arch, it's like 5.4.21. And it's always 0 dash and then the subversion on Ubuntu. Maybe it's like that on Debian? I don't know. Phase. I bet Nautilus put in a bunch of GNOME dependencies. Actually, since Mate is based on GNOME 2, there was only a few packages it installed. Only about 5 or 6 packages during the install process on the stream. Let's build the latest kernel. 2.5 hours later. All right, so we got all that going. You know what we haven't got going? And we probably should get going. Oh, wait. Did it? Oh, I remember. 5.4 had issues with my processor. Crash. Jay, what's up, man? Yeah, I know. How many times have you seen it? You know, Hikari and Sparky could be a testament. Yeah, the 5.2 through 5.4 has not been kind to me. It has not been a great kernel selection for my hardware. But what can you do? You know, I should probably take off Antergos. People might be getting the wrong ideas. Let's install that Aether theme, as I think Kill told me earlier. Let's grab that. Firefox, where are you at? Oh yeah. Need to grab Vivaldi too, but we'll do that after. I got a whole bunch of crap to do with Vivaldi, and I prefer not to do that on stream. And everyone knows I can install a browser. Let's download Aether. Light DM. Yeah. Here we go. Login manager for Arch. Manual install. We're going to have to do manual install. We don't have the AUR. Let's do this. And we'll go ahead and launch our little browser. We're going to go make directory build, cd build, and then I like to always git clone right into here. Yes. Just, oh, what? What? Oops. Just trying to, can I just, I think I can just do that. Whatever. 1 second. 1 second. I shall fix this error. Copy that. Git clone. There we go. His instructions are wrong. So, oh well. I was like, why is it asking me for a password? This is GitHub, man. All right, so then we just grab this guy. And let's go ahead. Copy that over there. Yeah. Go ahead and modify my system for me. I'm cool with that. And then set the default LightDM greeter to WebKit 2, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. What's that doing? All right. We already did this guy. This sed command's just a little bit of a shortcut. All right. Thanks for the sub there, Raphael. It reminds me of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, man. Love that. Love it so much. Ah, well, fair enough. All right, so with that done, let's double check to make sure it said it right. So we'll do a cat of etc lightdm and lightdm, what was it, dash webkit2 greeter, and you'll see that it modified it to be Aether now. So now our login page will be just like our old one. Everything's pretty much right with the world again. Yeah, for sure. I saw DT did that with what was it? It was like the open source knockoff of Quake. That was cool. I would love that though. Yeah, no, we'll definitely do something like that. We did a community game of Gremlins back in that, but it's only like 3 or 4 people, so we'll have to look at what game that would be. Open Quake, yeah. All right, let's do a reboot. See what this looks like. We should be pretty much back to normal. Still need to grab like Vivaldi and swapping that out with Firefox, and those are really the basic stuff. I'm just gonna kind of glass over in today's stream, just because I don't really care too much about that, as everyone knows how to switch out their browser and just the little things. This is more of, I'm trying to think of the more complex stuff that might not be exactly the same as Arch in this one. How long before Chris gets disgusted with Ubuntu? What do you mean gets? I'm already there, man. As soon as I did the install, and it was like, snapd package. Oh, no. Oh, the Aether theme didn't load properly. Oh, sad face. Let's fix that. Let's fix it, shall we? think that would be in, well, oh, no, it wasn't in etc. It was in users, local. Was it in bin? No, it wouldn't have been. Share? No. Crap. Yes. Okay, yeah. Okay, I got it. User share light DM dash WebKit. All right, let's take a look at the themes. I bet it dropped it into like a weird. Yeah. Okay. I see I see what's happening here. So it dropped it as a ether. And let's do a CD a ether. Do a listing. I think that's right. Let's list Antergos. Okay, yeah. That matches. So what happened was it's trying to load a theme that doesn't exist. So if we go etc light DM. Fat fingered it. Nano light DM dot dash WebKit 2 sudo. And what this ended up doing was, again, the instructions were wrong. Thanks, Linux guys, for your instructions. I love this guy's project, so it's just his documentation sucks. And then let's do another reboot. Let's see what happens this time. So what ended up happening was when we did the copy, it copied the directory over, but the directory's name wasn't technically what it was.
Friendship with Arch ended. Now Ubuntu is my best friend.
I have failed. That's greatness. I probably should have closed out of those programs. Looks like we got a 1 minute 29 second timeout happening. Oh, that's funny though. Oh. Oh yeah, this is entirely, what is it? Dirge 98. There's a note on the GitHub page. You should probably read it. Yeah, it's probably my fault. Lack of reading the manual. That's why we have Nightbot commands. What is it? RTFC, read the effing chat. Because I never read chat. And I have an issue reading documentation before just installing and using something. It takes the fun out, man. It's all about the adventure. It's all about the journey. Who wants to read when you're journeying into uncharted realms? Reading's for noobs. Yeah, I'm on Ubuntu now. I don't need to read the manual. I'm not using Arch anymore. Jeez. It's funny, man. Like whenever I do like live streams with other Linux guys that take themselves a little too serious, it's kind of funny. I think it was, what was it? I got on Biddle the other day, and oh man, those guys, they're just too serious a lot of times. I love oh hell, come on. Detected an error. Oh well. But yeah, just sometimes, I love Rocco, I love all the gang, but man, sometimes it's just like, come on. You can't take everything literally. Sometimes it's just have some fun. Gotta have some fun with it. That's the whole thing, I love those guys though. They're great. All right, still a problem with my theme. I wonder what's going on with that. Probably something. It's probably looking for Arch and some packages. Yeah, let's check the log. Let's pull up the old log, shall we? The var log. Let's go sudo gedit var log light DM. What logs we got? Oh, let's just grab the light DM dash log. Then we'll look at Cedar, the seat afterwards. Let's see what we got. Oops. Where'd that go? Where'd you go? Nope. All right, well. My bad on that one. We're just going to pretend that didn't happen. Oh yeah, I'm running as root. That's why. Sorry, I'm blinding you guys.
Why do your rebooting? Just restart Light Min TTY. Not Windows.
Oh, yeah. You are absolutely 100% right there, sir. But you got to remember, I use Windows for 20 plus years. It's like ingrained in me. Did you reboot? Yeah. Oh, so great. It was the perfect thing. All right, what is happening here? The debug, light DM, username, success. What is happening with this? I don't see anything in here. It's probably going to be in the seat that is the problem. Does stopping greeter display server will be reused in the user session? So it might be something in the actual config of that. Let's see. Instead of light DM, let's do seat greeter. Okay. Here we go. Here's the error that it's spitting out. Error opening directory, user, wallpapers. No such file exists. Let's see what's in this folder. No. I see what's happening. Okay. My bad there, guys. Wrong folder name again. So if we look through our, I didn't change all of the things I need to change here. So let's go sudo nano etc light dm, and this is going to be what, light dm dash webkit2 greeter. I bet you down here. Let's come on down. No, it's not here. Son of a biscuit eater. Where are you at? Where are those references? All right. Let's just go to, I don't know, etc light dm. What happened here? Oops. I don't think there's anything in lightdm.conf, so let's just check though. Yeah, no. Yeah, let's just rename it. I agree with you, Dersh. That's probably the easiest way to approach this. So let's go user. What was that? User share lightdm. cd. Oop, nope. That wasn't it. WebKit. And cd themes. And then let's look at that. Let's move a ether. And we'll just move it to lightdm webkit a ether. Ooh. Was that exactly the syntax though? I think it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Look it up. Let's see. Yeah, I guess we could just, let's look at our history. I think we had it in a log file. What log file was it? Oh, it was 174. So let's just do 174. No, that was wrong. Okay, yeah. That's what we need right there. I guess that's why we look it up, huh? Oh, crap. What was it? It was, WebKit. No. Move light DM WebKit ether to light DM WebKit. I forgot I closed out of that, but whatever. Theme a ether. Permission denied. Because I just not feeling sudo today. All right. And just to make sure, what was that, 174? Yeah. I got it. I got it this time. So now if we do a list, we got it listed as that. And what was that? History? Let's just pull up and do... Feels like I had .conf in here somewhere, right? Oh, it's been a while since I actually did the full... Oh, well, whatever. Yeah, I'm usually just like, let's just run it as root. Bad habits. Die hard, man. All right. So now, we should be good. Yeah, that'd be great. We're coming to the end of the stream. Everything's set exactly perfect. One last reboot. Nothing. That would be awesome. Oh, man. All right, what do we got? You gonna come from a black screen? I was kidding. There we go. I was about to say. Come on. Don't do this to me. All right, so no more errors. Everything is back to normal. Looking nice. We even got the arch symbol there. Still, we even got the arch symbol. We ain't running arch, though. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Oh, crap. Keep forgetting to... Remind me to install the LTS kernel on reboot. Swear I have a memory of a goldfish sometimes. Oh, hey, the 5.4 kernel's not working out so well for me. Don't use it. Yeah. Yeah, we'll use the LTS kernel. I love the LTS kernel, so... I never have problems with it. Or very rarely, I should say. Not never. Because I will cause problems anywhere I go. Just to see if I can fix it. Alright. Back we are now. Friend of yours wanted to set up Windows file server. Why? Yeesh. Windows file server on bare metal is like a nightmare. NTFS, let's use a 25-year-old file system that constantly has journaling issues and fragmentation like everywhere. Like, it still blows my mind that Windows hasn't switched to a different file system. There's so, like, anything is better than NTFS, except maybe FAT32, but still. I mean, come on. All right, let's sudo apt install. Wouldn't it be great, like during the install process, if it like locked up during the LTS kernel install? That would be greatness. What's the LTS kernel package on Ubuntu? I don't even know. What is that? Linux LTS kernel. Ubuntu. Is it not a package? Generic. LTS is generic?
Sudo snap install Linux LTS.
Oh. Oh, that's so great. Oh my god. I love the text to voice when they just troll me. Oh my god. All right, let's see. Is it generic is the LTS kernel? No, LTS generic is Linux generic is already installed. Base LTS, okay. Well, LTS version will change, right? So even if I did Linux image version number. Yeah, I don't even think. Yeah, let's see. I don't think it's really going to give me much, is it? Let's see. Search. I don't even need to do sudo on this one, but. So I think, you know, you could do UKUU and choose exactly what you want, but there's generic. What is the LTS though? Do they even give you an option to do LTS? That's probably a better question, huh? Oh, you know what? I think 5.4 might be the LTS kernel now. Because, I mean, technically Ubuntu runs on that. I scrolled right past it. Yeah, 5.6, I guess. That's not really... Yeah, Billy, you're more on the bleeding edge. Honestly, I haven't had any issues with 5.6. That's what I was running on here. Yeah, UKUU is the cheater way for sure.
Use UKUU to switch kernel.
That's true. I don't think that's built into the package though. I think you got to do a PPA for UKUU. Yeah. Yeah, I was like, I remember that. Man, thought they'd be easier to do, but oh well. Let's apt install UKUU. Why overcomplicate it? Let's just grab that. TG. Saw a not found on that PPA. Let's see. Maybe the PPA changed. No, didn't. Ah, that PPA is no good. What? Welcome to old Linux documentation. Great. Or it could be it's just not compatible with Foco Fossa yet. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, I'm beta. Yeah. Yep. All right, so that PPA is not going to work, which is fine. You know what? We're just going to grab the D package. Screw it. I don't care if it updates. Let's just go to releases. This is released in January. Close enough. Right? I don't care if it updates. It's only the kernel. Oh, of 2009. I love it. Yeah, I did this.
Update.
Yeah, I did the apt update. If you look up here, you'll notice this little gem, because what it's doing, why it's saying not found for this PPA, is it's the focal release. And focal's still in beta, so I don't think UKUU technically supports this. So let's do stuff we're not supposed to do, because that's just fun. Well, it's just fun to break things on stream. Let's install UKUU direct from a D package. Love it. Errors while processing. Package. Okay. Needs aptitude and Araya 2. So, oh, not yay. This is good for me. Get back into the Debian thing of the way we did things. Aptitude and Araya 2. Let's see if we can find both those packages. There we go.
Just compile own kernel. Make Ubuntu UX like Gentoo.
We ain't got enough time to compile our own kernel, man. Come on now. Alright. That's greatness. Alright, let's go UKUU here. See if it works. It should. Oh, really? UKUU went to a paid version? Get out. No. I don't believe you.
Alexa, turn the studio lights off.
Headphones. Busted jalopy. Just for you, though. Alexa, turn studio off. Into darkness we go. Alexa, turn studio on. Alright. That would have been great, though. Oh my god. Alright, a paid version of UKU is now available, with more features and a new UI. What? We need to get some of that. Alright, what do we want to do? We want to go bleeding edge. We want to go LTS. We're running 21 back here. Where's the LTS? Is the LTS? Does it even say LTS? No, it doesn't. Been a while since I did UKU. Hell, let's go bleeding edge. Let's break it. Bleeding edge 5.6.4. I said I was going to use it like Arch, So by golly, we're going to use it like Arch. Oh, this incident has been reported not authorized. Did it not elevate? Why didn't it elevate? Just cancel. I don't care. It should have, like, prompted for elevation. Whatever. Let's just do it through command prompt. I don't care. Oh, look at that. Okay, never mind. We don't even need to fetch the index. Forget that. Let's just do UKUU install latest. We're going to just turn it into a rolling release. Why not? What? No. No, that's the main line. Cancel. Taking it back. What was that? Where was it? Install point up to the current release. Okay. All right, let's just do a list. I'm going to stick back to the list. Let's just see the list. Yeah, Tony, I think it's just install 5.6. I think you're right. Let's see what the list looks like, though. I have a bad feeling about this. Yes, I'm doing my job if that's the case. Oh my god. Oh wow, it really spits out a list, didn't it? Holy crap. Make sure to run a grep with that, huh? Oh, you know what? Pro tip. When setting up your terminal, where are you at, history? Scrolling. Scroll back. 5,000 lines, please. Okay. We'll fix that for the last one. Let's try that one though. I think let's go with the shoot from the hip, as it were. UKUU -- install 5.6.4. See if that syntax is right. Yeah. Wait. Running kernel. Fetching index. Did that... Could not find requested version 5.66. Or 6.4. Well, why couldn't it find that? That's, Alright, well, that's fine. We'll just do another list, but this time we're going to grep 5.6. I know there's a 6 in there, right? Okay, 5.6.4. And when we went to install 5.6.4, does it need a V before it, you think? Yeah, let's try. Oh, disable the red bar.
Disable this red bar in Terminator.
Yeah.
Doesn't it annoy ya?
Let's take the window borders off. I think that's it, right? Yeah. That should do it. Close. Nope, that didn't do it. Hide from taskbar. Nope. Windows state. Maximized. Yeah. Nope. Where is that? Show title bar. That seems like it. Yeah, there we go. All right, cool. Let's do a V beforehand. All right, we're going to try V 5.6. Ah! There we go. Bleeding edge kernel, here we come. I do get ADD during my streams, I will say that. You don't use Tmux. No, I use Terminator, man. Still do. Although I did I install Compton or not? Do you guys remember? Because I should see some transparency here. Oh, no, no. The transparency's there. Just ever so slight. It's all about the experience, man. Try and break things. That's my shtick. Yeah. No, Compton's working. I see the transparency layer. You can see the little background through Terminator. Oh yeah, Elitacree or I can't say the word, but I know which terminal you're talking about. It's supposed to be the fastest terminal, and I think it has GPU acceleration, which is hilarious. GPU acceleration terminal, but yeah, no, I've heard a lot of great things. Okay. Oh, Billy, dab time. Why, it's building the kernel or installing the kernel. Let's do a little dab, shall we? Oh, nope, that's recording. Wrong button. This button. Dab time. All right, there we go. Oh my god. Oh my god. I think some of the newcomers are starting to get 4,000 points. Come on. Come on, Twitch. Don't fail me now. Sell out. Sell out. Second dab. Oh. So my favorite dab on the entire channel was when my mom was here, and I told her what a dab was, and she did the dab when we did the interview live. Oh my god, that was so great. I'll never live up to that dab. Oh my word. All right. We're going chat dab. Switch it up a little. Dab time. Yeah, so I'm about to switch one of the terminals on my laptop. I think I'm using like Clear Linux on my laptop inside, which I know, a little cringe, but the Clear Linux on my laptop inside doesn't have the ability to use Awesome Window Manager, which is fine. I mean, who uses Clear Linux? But I wanted to go ahead and learn like another window manager on it, like i3 or something more mainline, and actually do some videos on that because I thought that'd be fun. So in my spare time, I'll probably end up doing something like that. Let's see what we got here. Let's log in, and I think we'll finish this thing out. So we pretty much have everything loaded as it was. Even some improvements, I'd say. You know, with a fresh install, you just get a nice fresh thing. So let's first do just a uname SR. See what we're running. You see we're on 5.6 now. Let's do a neofetch to end this. We got focal fossa development branch. I know I'm using the development branch, but who cares? We don't have snaps installed on Ubuntu, so you know you can check that. Just purge snapd. You'll see that it's not installed. Hopefully, yeah, not installed. And then, yeah, this is nice. Exactly, almost as it was, just running Ubuntu. So there we have it. How many packages compared to Arch? Probably less packages because I still haven't loaded up like Discord and some other things, but very comparable. I mean, not too much, probably a bit more, just because some of the dependencies, like I said, It does install a little bit more, but not too bad. Right now, 1848 for the D packages. I did a neo fetch before starting this install at the start of the stream, so you can actually check out this package count to that package count. So, but again, I did run that system for like 3 months, so that's not really a fair comparison. I would imagine this one, if installed every single package I had in Arch to this one, the package count would probably be more on the Ubuntu box, but at the same time, you can check the VOD after the stream wraps. But yeah, it was a fun little install, and I just wanted to just say, hey guys, when I say distribution doesn't matter, I mean it, you know, literally. This is a complete Frankenstein of an Ubuntu system for most folks, but it's basically how I use my Arch system I now use on this Ubuntu system. Identical look, identical packages installs, some of the syntax changes, but at the end of the day, it works pretty much the same. So, I mean, that's a big thing. There's little gotchas as we went through this, like the Aether GitHub, you know, obviously that would just go through the AUR for the install. Or this one, it was really designed for Arch, so a lot of the install scripts had Arch in mind. So when I did it that way, it did mess with some of it, but it was just going back through and editing those config files. Any other major issues? I think the 5.4 kernel doesn't work great with my hardware, so that's why we upgraded to 5.6, but I honestly probably could have stayed on 5.4. It wasn't that big a deal. Yeah, overall, pretty nice. Pretty nice. What do you guys think? Yeah, NVIDIA on Linux just kind of sucks, but it's not to say you can't use it. This stream is happening through an NVIDIA 1660 using NVENC. I am using the OBS Git repository, so it's OBS 25, I think RC6. So release candidate 6 of OBS. But everything on here is Linux. So this is still running Arch, but I may wipe it out. I think for the stream PC, though, I'm going to go a different route. There's certain things about Ubuntu, obviously, during this install that kind of came up with like snaps and other things that are installed, where I think I might just go with a vanilla Debian and do that Debian Phi project and just go through and see how that is compared to like the Arch Phi project. I think that'd be kind of a fun thing to do. So we'll try that out as well. Alidicry, it's a different terminal. I mean, all terminals are the same. Just choose what you like. All of them have some cool features. Some of them more than others, you know, just depends. Please try rat poison. I don't think so, man. So, like, some of the more painful stuff I don't really do. So, the more painful stuff like Gen 2, Linux from scratch, rat poison, even some of the suckless stuff that you see like Luke Smith and DT and all those guys talk about, if it means it's a little more bloated, but it's like 5 times faster, I'm usually going to choose the 5 times faster approach, as long as it doesn't like cross that threshold. But to keep up, like, just so it doesn't install like 3 packages, I don't care. I mean, at the end of the day, you're not really going to notice. But if it is noticeable, I will definitely approach it. So I just use whatever's best is my thing. Whatever I think's best for a daily driver, that's my approach to it all. Because I want to be more efficient, more stable, more reliable, all those things. What I don't want is to get on Linux and then be like, oh, well, this is more cumbersome than Windows or Mac. I want to be able to just say, hey, I'm more effective and productive and stable in Linux than Windows and Mac. So that's why I do some of the things I do. I knew there's some gotchas with Ubuntu on the install, but that's okay. I could work around them, and then at the very end, the final product is equivalent to what I was using on Arch. So that's what I love. Yeah.
DWM is actually quite easy. ST and others even easier.
Yeah. So I'll definitely be doing some more tiling window managers, getting into it and doing that. I probably will stick to i3 starting out though, just because that's what everyone always is asking about. Like always, hey, have you done i3 yet? I'm like, kinda. I did it at the beginning of 2019 when I was just starting my Linux journey, which is not really fair because back in 2019 when it came to the desktop environment of Linux, I really didn't know much. I was on it for what, 60 days at that time. So I didn't even understand the display managers and how all that interfaced. i3 is bad.
i3 bad, Plaza don't.
Okay. Yeah, you know what? I'll take a community poll. I'll take a community poll on that. And say, hey, ST, i3, DWM, Qtile, maybe even throw some Xmonad in there, I guess. You know, I'm not going to say rat poison. I know you community, you would troll the hell out of me. And rat poison would have like 100% of the votes.
Use BSPWM instead.
That's like when I did that, what was it, the game streaming video? And I asked chat in live chat, I was like, okay, guys, we got the game stream PC set up. What do you guys want to see? You want to see some Warzone? You want to see some, Destiny 2, or all this? And then everyone picks Fallout 76. Really? Fallout 76? I should go play some Fallout 76 just to troll y'all for doing that. That was a good troll. But I mean, it was hilarious. It was like 30 votes, and all 30 votes was like Fallout 76. It was hilarious how much everybody was thinking alike. Oh my god. So yeah, all in all, what was that? That was a little over 2-3 hours for the whole customization. I mean, I didn't exactly like try and do like a speed run of it or anything, but I mean, that's not bad for getting most of everything set up and configured how I wanted it. I kind of dig how we did it. What is the best distro though? That's awesome. I really hope people take that video to heart. And I don't know how many people would actually watch this long of a live stream on a replay. So on the replay, we'll see what happens. I'll definitely post it on the streams channel and chop out the beginning and end of it. But I at least wanted to show the entire process and then maybe do a more streamlined version of it to, chop it down into YouTube standards. I always say YouTube standards between that 10 and 20 minute marker. That's the sweet spot. That's your sweet spot. I'll probably do that as well and make another one of these with. I'll probably use Debian 5 for that one though. I really want to try that project because I got an email about that and I dig it. I love that idea. 15-minute Arch install.
I would like to see some OpenBox video too.
Mm-hmm. OpenBox for sure. Like, OpenBox is really neat because of how light it is. Like, a lot of people are talking about LXQT or LXDE, but OpenBox is even lighter. So I'm definitely exploring OpenBox as even more so than what we had. Now, the one thing I didn't show you guys at the end here. Let's flip back 1 second here. So this is the final product for the most part. Obviously, with no browser opener or anything, you're looking about 800 megs usage. And that Synology drive is still syncing. So there's so much data in there. There's like 200 gigs. So it just takes a long time for that to process. Overall, came in under a gig of memory usage. Not bad, not great. I think with Arch, vanilla install, and Synology drive not running, I think I had that down to about 500 or 600 megs. So, but very much in the ballpark. Not much difference. But I wanted to show you that as well towards the end here. Yeah, I'm surprised it's not 666 megs of memory usage. Oh, wait, no. Look. Yeah, look right there. Oh, God, you got to see that. I cannot believe this is amazing. Oh my God, I'm ending it on this. This is just truly amazing. Memory 666. Vindicated. It's the devil. Yes. Yes. I can't doctor that. That is live on stream. Boom. Oh my God. Couldn't have been more perfect than that. We're ending it right here. You saw it first, live. The devil reincarnate. Yeah. Oh my God, so great. Well, thank you all for coming out, staying for this live stream. I just love doing this. And, you know, at the end of the day, I say that, you know, distribution doesn't matter. Use whatever you want. If you want to use Ubuntu, use Ubuntu. You want to use Debian, use that. You want to use Arch, use it. I don't care. Any of them. You can make them all work identical. It's great. That's the power of Linux. Just do whatever you want. The only thing holding it back is you. So with all that, guys, I'll see y'all later. I do my live stream usually Monday, Friday. This was kind of a special one because Mondays got cut short as my daughter wanted to do a bike ride. And I was like, well, who am I to deny my daughter a bike ride? So we did. So with all that, guys, take it easy. Be safe out there. And I'll see y'all on the next one. Oh, that was smooth. I didn't screw up on the end screen that time. Later, all.